Welcome back to another episode of Spotlight. The boys in gold had a tough loss in St. Louis, but the road trip continues as they head to the Big Apple. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you both here at the desk today. How are you?
Good. Very, very good. But we hear that today's a special day. Is that?
It is a special day. Our very own, our finest, Liv, with a birthday today.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I wouldn't want to spend it anywhere else but next to you two here talking about soccer, you know.
Well, you're kind of obligated because it's your job, you know what I'm saying? The real people
job.
off the camera are the ones that you really want to spend time
That's
with when
true.
the sun sets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you got planned for your birthday?
Oh, well, I'm going out to a restaurant, so we'll see. I'm not trying any escargot as well as recommended over here.
Smart choice.
All right, well, fine.
Smart.
Not
Sorry,
a
I
fan
had
of
no
the
idea
snails.
with my friendship.
No, that's okay. I appreciate your French. I appreciate it. But let's get into soccer. The boys in gold traveled to St. Louis. It wasn't the result that they expected, but what were some of your key takeaways from this match?
I think, first of all, it's exactly what BJ Callahan said after the game. It's a lesson that in this league, no fixture, no match is ever guaranteed, and especially not on the road. I think that's where you begin. Still a difficult place to play, a new stadium for Nashville SC to play, and the first time they've been to St. Louis. But new manager, new energy for the home side. You saw that. I think you see Nashville evolving into a team that is going to have opponents sitting back, giving them a lot of possession and forcing them to win in a new way. And you saw St. Louis frustrating Nashville when Nashville had possession. You saw transitional moments. You saw a set piece that I really think Jalil kind of changed the game early with the second ball kind of recycled in off a corner for St. Louis's opening goal. It's all it takes in this league. A home team off of a corner, off of a set piece, getting that belief can change the whole 90 minutes, and that's what we saw Saturday.
Yeah, I think parity is something that we've talked about ad nauseum on this show, and when you're talking about MLS, that's going to be the name of the game. And unfortunately for the boys in gold, St. Louis came out. They were hot. They deserved all 3 points. It was a little bit of a convoluted match. The way things were kind of refereed at the end, I would have liked to seen at least one of the goals stand, but there was confusion there. And at the end of the day, if you don't come out ready from the jump, it's going to be very, very difficult, especially when you play away at St. Louis because their fans are on point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I was watching the match, you could hear their fans so loudly through the audio. I thought, I can't imagine playing in that atmosphere. But looking at the stats, taking a bigger picture, Nashville SC had higher possession, more shots. Do you think that they should feel encouraged or frustrated based on their performance?
I think both. I think in a result like this, you look at the things that you were able to do decently well. That was pulling Hani Mukhtar off of the line, being able to facilitate. There were a few key moments there. They could have hit the back of the net. Brugman rocks the post. It was an unfortunate one. Maybe if that one goes in, the dramatics late could have played out a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, St. Louis deserved all 3 points. So when you're in a situation where not everything is bad, but not good enough to get all 3 points, it's a very good opportunity to get into the film room, get into group meetings, individual meetings, and correct those details, because those details are the things that Nashville has done excellently throughout the course of the season. And with a couple of dropped results, they need to get back to what we've seen them do throughout the course of the season.
I think you're encouraged by what Gaston Brugman showed you in a bit of a different role. We haven't seen a lot of Brugman, Tagseth, and Yazbek all on the field at the same time from the start. So I think you saw flashes of why Brugman was the MLS Cup MVP last year. The deep-lying midfield role, the passes over the top, the accuracy in breaking lines. Gaston Brugman completed the most passes of any player for Nashville in this match with 80 of them. So I think you saw an idea really start to become more of a concept, more of a proof of concept that if push comes to shove and Nashville is chasing a goal, if Nashville is playing against another team that's going to sit in a mid-block or a low block, that's another way that Nashville can break down opponents in the future. We know one thing, if you're going to win trophies, if you're going to win silverware in this league or any other, you have to be able to win different types of games. Although the result didn't go Nashville's way, they found a way, a different solution to unlock teams in the future.
Nashville SC is continuing its sequence of firsts. They went to San Diego for the first time, went to St. Louis for the first time. Now they're going to Yankee Stadium, right? Baseball stadium. It's going to be a smaller pitch, tighter corners. Do you think NSC is going to change their approach, and what do you think are going to be some of the difficulties they might encounter?
Yeah, you don't change your approach because, again, for the large part of this season, they've been on point. So you just have to get back to what they've been doing throughout the majority of the season, right? So you're not changing your approach. But when you do play Yankee Stadium, though, the confines are different. It's not only is the pitch shorter, it's also much more narrow. But most importantly for me, whenever I played at Yankee Stadium, it was disorienting because the pitch is laid diagonally throughout the baseball diamond, right? So when you look up the line on either side, it's just a little bit different. And those things, if you aren't quite tuned into them, they can throw you off in crucial moments. But again, we're talking about an experienced team. We're talking about a team that is by and large in a good way this season. So none of the confines of the pitch should be anything of an excuse, and I know the boys don't take it as one.
I think this Nashville team is suited pretty well to play in a bit more of a compact pitch. The technical quality in tight spaces, something we've seen a lot of from Nashville this season. You think of, obviously, Sam Surge and Hani Mukhtar, but a player like Johnny Perez thrives when the space tightens a little bit. And you're able to take a guy on one-on-one, beat him with a 1-2, or beat him on the dribble. So I think this Nashville team, offensively, there's benefit to it. But I think defensively, the way Nashville presses away from home, as much as any team in this league, the mentality of everyone attacks, everyone defends. Nashville's ability to press New York into spaces where they don't want to have the ball, but Nashville wants them to have the ball, that gets tougher for a team building out against a high press. There's less grass, there's less space for you to breathe. I actually think this type of game, this type of stadium suits this Nashville team really well. We saw BJ Callahan, we saw the club bring in the lines a little bit here at Geodis Park this season. That was one of the things they wanted to do to fit this new style of NSC 2.0. I think it'll suit them well away from home as well.
I do think that the press can benefit Nashville, but when you look at the back line itself, of course, New York City is going to look at the tape and they're going to look for pockets to be able to exploit the back line. And that is one thing that we've seen from this club for years and years and years, where they can generate very quick attacks. And if your defense is not in the lines that it should be in those split moments, they can get chance after chance after chance. So for me, what I would like to see is the back line be more connected with the press in front of it, so that way they aren't exposed behind.
Are you expecting this to be a faster paced match because of how tight it might be?
I would say I would expect more chances, not necessarily a faster pace, because with a condensed field, it can get into a situation where you have to play a little bit more direct. But you have to remember, to Will's point, both teams here are very possession heavy.
The way that grass is laid also, oftentimes the ball won't roll as quickly on that turf too, versus a natural grass surface and the great pitch we've had at Geodis Park. So can change the way that, yes, you might want to go long more because the space is condensed and you want to bypass the press more often, but the ball rolling on the grass, it's going to roll and travel differently on a stadium like that.
All right, what does NSC have to do this Sunday to get back into the win column?
I think the first one is really simple, but it has to be said. You got to slow down Alonso Martinez. And he is the main man for this NYC team. 6 goals in his last 6 games. First time, actually, that New York City has played an MLS match since July 25th. 3 matches against Liga MX competition for them in Leagues Cup. So you hope there's a little bit of a tough transition, a hangover from going from one competition to the next on Sunday afternoon. But slowing down Alonso Martinez, a guy who can flip the game on his head with one solo moment, one individual moment, it's the biggest key. That's the first thing on the whiteboard for BJ Callahan this week.
Yeah, and then the second thing, of course, is going to be Hannes Wolf. Him on 13 goal contributions as well, 9 and 4. If it's not Martinez, it's typically Wolf. So making sure, like a lot of other teams on the flip, are trying to keep Hani and Sam off the score sheet, it's Alonso Martinez and Hannes Wolf. So these are pretty much the 4 players that are expected to stand tall. But then for me, it's always like, who are the other ones that become maybe the unexpected heroes?
Well, that's a wrap of today's episode. Remember that this match is Sunday, 4 p.m. Central Time. The Boys in Gold will be taking on New York City FC. You can catch all the action live on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, or tune in locally on 104.5 The Zone. Thanks for watching Spotlight.
Except that's not a wrap on today's episode, because we have, for the birthday girl, a little something today on this episode of Spotlight.
I thought you were going to cancel The Zone.
Here we go. Happy birthday, Liv.
Thanks, guys.
Happy birthday, Liv. I'm not going to tilt it over, but the
That's
camera can
beautiful.
see. This is very, very
Fantastic.
Thank you,
excellent
guys.
work
Thank you.
from our team.
Video team.
We're a family here on and off the camera,
I
so
love you
happy
guys.
birthday,
Thank you
Liv.
so much. You make all of my dreams come true.